Sonic, the heart of your system.
Hello, Bryony here from Kit Guru, and in this video I'm taking a look at the Razer Kraken headset. So this is the new Razer Kraken, and it's basically the successor to the Razer Kraken Pro V2. So essentially it's the Pro V3, but Razer have sort of simplified their naming system. It comes in with the same recommended retail price as the old version, so that's $79.99 in pounds, euros or dollars. I already took a look at this headset. I did do a quick unboxing and first impressions video when it was released. So that shows the box contents and things, and as you can see I am taking a look at the green version, and it is available in a couple of other colours as well. So you can have the quartz pink edition, there is also a black version of this headset, and there is a black and blue console version as well. So when it comes to setting up this headset, it does come with a braided cable. I found it was a good length for using on maybe like a laptop or a phone, but I think if you do have a PC that's sort of away from your desk, the cable is quite short. However, it does come with a splitter cable that does give it a little bit of extra length. This headset is multi-platform compatible, so it has a 3.5mm jack, and that will plug into pretty much any compatible device and the audio will work. To use the headphones and the microphone, you will have to have a combination audio jack, but also if you do have a PC or a laptop that requires the separate audio and microphone inputs, the headset also comes with the splitter cable as well. When it comes to the aesthetics on this headset, I must admit the bright green isn't really my personal taste, but Razer have done a good job to sort of match all the different materials. So the plastic, the metal and the faux leather is all a very matching bright green. You do also have the matching bright green braided cable as well. This headset also doesn't feature any RGB lighting, although I don't really think that is a feature that you really miss on a headset because you don't see it anyway. And I think it does make sense as it is a multi-platform headset, so you haven't got a USB connector that needs to sort of power it anyway. Instead of the RGB lighting, it has got this sort of black contrast accents, I guess. So it does look quite nice with the bright green. You've got some black on the inside of the ear cups, there's some black on the top of the headband, and then each of the ear cups as well do have this black mesh on them, so it does kind of have the look of an open back headset. The Razer logo is found on the left and right ear cup right in the middle, so their distinctive snake logo is quite present on this headset, and you do also have the Razer name across the top of the headband as well. Overall, I think it's a decent looking headset, and despite the garish colour, it still manages to look quite premium and doesn't all look sort of cheap and tacky. When it comes to build quality, despite the look of this headset, it does actually have an aluminium frame underneath all of this green paint. So it is really, I think, the areas that matter. So on the edge of the headband, the extension arm, and there's also a metal ring that runs around each ear cup as well. So I think it is probably the areas that matter, the areas you want to be strong and the areas that are more likely to get damaged. Even the plastic they've used does actually feel pretty solid, and the headset does have a good amount of flex in the areas you would want it. I do think that Razer probably has a pretty bad rap with their headsets. I have heard that they are meant to break quite easily, but I think with this headset it's pretty obvious Razer probably made some improvements in that area, as overall it does feel very sturdy and well built. The PU leather that coats the top of the headband and runs around the outside of each ear cup feels lovely and soft and quite high quality really, and I think teamed up with the braided cable it does give this headset a sort of premium feel to it. It does feel very well built, like it won't sort of fall apart easily. It also comes with a 2-year warranty as well that I think sort of helps give you peace of mind. When it comes to using this headset, it's very easy to set up because it does only have that 3.5mm jack, so it's just a case of plugging it into any compatible device. There's no USB to worry about, so there's no software to download either. It is obviously quite a large headset, and I must say it does look rather comical on my small head, but despite its size it actually isn't too heavy. It's reasonably lightweight, and it also doesn't grip too tightly either. I think if anything it probably is slightly loose as it does slide around a little bit. However, I do think that is better than feeling crushed. A couple of the improvements that Razer have made to this new version of the Kraken over its predecessor are designed to make it more comfortable, and although I haven't actually tried out the old Kraken Pro V2, so I can't really compare it, in general I did find this headset to be pretty comfortable. Razer have apparently added some more padding to the top of the headband. To me it still doesn't actually feel that thick, but it does a reasonably good job. If I wore it for a really long period of time though, I did find that I started to get a bit of a pressure point at the top of my head, so I found myself adjusting it because it did get a little bit painful. I almost always have this problem with this particular style of headset though. I don't know whether it's my head shape or something, but I personally find the suspension headband design more comfortable. The headband is adjustable on sort of like a ratchet system, and it is very easy to adjust, and it does stay in place really well also. And for once it does actually go really quite small. Normally I have to use the smallest setting on a headset, and sometimes it is still a little bit too big, but with this headset I actually put it on sort of like the 2 setting, so you can adjust it from 1 all the way up to 5. So if you are someone that's got a smaller head, it should suit you, and if you're someone that has got a larger head, it should suit you as well. The ear cups themselves don't unfortunately rotate inwards and outwards, so you can't lie the headset flat on your desk, you can't lie it flat around your neck. However, they do slightly tilt inwards and outwards, so I found that was pretty good. It did pretty much always sit flush against my ears, and it didn't pinch or anything because it was always sitting in the right place. The ear cups are another improvement that Razer have made over the previous generation. So this Razer Kraken is now fitted with their like cooling gel ear cups. They're the same ear cups that I tested out on the Razer Nari, and to be honest, I didn't really find that they did anything for me. I personally don't really get very warm ears anyway, but I didn't really notice any sort of cooling effect from them. If anything, they did feel pretty much the same as any other headset to me. They weren't particularly cooler, they weren't particularly warmer. However, they are lovely and soft and squishy. I think they have sort of like a memory foam teamed up with the gel, so they are a very comfortable ear cup, and I didn't notice any sort of pinching and things, and they do have a really good amount of padding. Apparently they also have a little channel in them as well, so if you're someone that wears glasses, you shouldn't get any sort of pinching from that. Along the braided cable is where we will find the inline controls. So unfortunately this headset doesn't have any controls on the headset itself. I do find that to be a little bit disappointing, as intuitively I always reach up to my ear to sort of change the volume and things. However, the inline controls are nice and small, so they don't get in the way, they don't sort of bash on your shirt or anything, and you have got a volume scroll wheel and also a little toggle to mute and unmute the microphone, and it does have a little red indicator on there as well, so you can tell when the microphone is muted. So when it comes to audio, I would say this headset certainly isn't bad. I actually do think it's pretty decent. It's just not one of the best that I've tried either. To be honest, I was actually really surprised because it sounds pretty much exactly the same as the Razer Nari, and that is a £200 headset. So the Razer Nari now seems really bad value for money for me, because you can get basically the same sound out of an £80 pair of headphones. I know they lack some of the features and things, but it is practically the same sound. I did also check to see, I don't think it is the same drivers because they do have slightly different specifications. However, they do sound pretty much exactly the same. So when I was gaming with this headset, it is obvious it is a gaming headset because that's where I got the best experience using it. It's very immersive. Everything sounds great in game because you can hear exactly what's going on around you. Nothing sounds muddy, everything sounds very crisp and clear, and you can really sort of tell where enemies are, where teammates are and things. When it comes to listening to music is where it doesn't sound so great, basically. I do find it quite hard to describe audio, but I would say maybe the trebles are like a bit harsh or something. It just sounds like too crisp, and it's not that it's like tinny, it's just maybe the bass isn't pronounced as I would sort of like it to be. I think it's something that I could probably tweak if it had software, but unfortunately being a multi-platform headset, it doesn't come with software, so you don't have that option. You have to sort of stick with the default profile. But for gaming it sounds really good. For music it doesn't sound so good, basically. Also, I did find if I really crank the volume up, like really loud, to be honest, it's probably too loud for anyone to actually use the headset, but I always do this test anyway. I also did notice that it has a little bit of distortion as well if you do really crank the volume up. So I'm now talking using the inbuilt microphone on this headset, and it's something that Razer opted to improve over the previous version. And I must say, I do think it does sound pretty decent. It maybe sounds slightly nasally and a little bit distant, but for a gaming headset I do think it is very clear, and it does definitely come through at a good volume as well. The new cardioid design also does a really good job of only picking up my voice and not too much of anything that's really going on around me. So you do have to play around a little bit with the positioning. You do have to make sure it's the right distance from your mouth and things like that, but once you've got it right, it does do a very good job, and I did find it to be very, very effective. So if I now type using my mechanical keyboard, you probably really can't hear it that well, although in the room that would normally be quite loud. And because the microphone does it via the hardware and not software, the noise cancelling doesn't give you any sort of that weird roboty voice that you often get. So in conclusion, this is a headset that doesn't really come with any extra bells and whistles, but I do think you get it at a pretty good price. In the UK, we do get a little bit screwed over, but if you're in the US or in Europe, I think you're getting a pretty good deal. It feels like a very well built headset. It's very solid and sturdy. It is attractive to look at, maybe not in this bright green, but you do have a few different other colours to choose from, and it does look like you spent a decent amount of cash on it. It's obvious that Razer have tried to improve the comfort of the headset with a new padding on the ear cups and the headband, but personally I did find myself adjusting it after wearing it for quite a long period of time. The audio also isn't really the best, but I do think that Razer have made some really worthwhile improvements to the microphone. So in general, I do think it is a pretty well balanced headset, and I think if you're a multi-platform gamer, it is really worth considering. If you like this video from KitGuru, make sure to give it a thumbs up. If you'd like to see more from KitGuru, make sure to hit the subscribe button, and also remember to press the little bell icon as well. If you'd like to help us out in other ways, we also now have a merchandise store where you can buy t-shirts and hoodies with the KitGuru logo on, and we also now have a Patreon as well that does get you some exclusive rewards.